It's the show after the show. Home of the best countdowns this side of the Mississippi. Okay, so here's something. We're all siblings, right? We all have siblings.
Nope.
That was weird. Yeah, that was dumb. We all have siblings, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't. Producer Buddy's oldest. Mima, are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Youngest, okay.
She's the baby.
Hey, I'm the
I forgot.
baby.
I might have asked you that before, but I'm spacing. So, can we all acknowledge, no matter what anybody says, among siblings, there's going to be a
School, though, for me.
Oh, school's a big one, especially
Yeah.
as the younger one. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
haven't gotten the worst of it.
So all 5 of my siblings went to high school before I did, obviously.
Right.
And you had the good students and you had the not so good students.
Yeah.
And I came last. So depending on what teacher which sibling got, they would be like, "Oh, you're the Mora twin sisters." They're not twins, but everyone thought they were. But you're their sister. Oh my gosh, you're gonna be great. Blah blah blah. So they always had this high expectation.
Yeah.
But if they would be like, "Oh, you're your brother's sister,"
Yeah.
and that would be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah," and then be
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, I hope you do better."
See, because my brother's 3.5 years younger than me, so I graduated, and then that next fall he was in. So it was like fresh that he was like right there. And him, I think it was the same thing. If the teacher liked me, they had expectations. The teacher didn't like me, then same thing. But one of the things I think that complicated it for him is the big things I did in high school were band and broadcast media, journalism, and all that. The big things my brother did were band and broadcast media. And it got to a point, he loves what he does. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it got to the point, I think that's why he started to delve into the medical field, because he just wanted to do something different. He was tired of doing the same thing. So like that's a great example, because brother, same thing. So the reason I bring up sibling rivalries is because I don't know about you, Mima, but like my brother is married. My brother's younger. I'm the oldest of 4. And one of my favorite event moments that I like to joke about that actually kills me inside each time I make the joke, but it's worth it for the laughs, is we went to a family reunion right after he graduated. We'd both graduated college, and I think we were both about to move. No, excuse me. He was finished, and I wasn't done quite yet. And someone asked, like, "Oh, my brother's name is brother. What are you doing?" He's, "Oh, this is my girlfriend. They're high school sweethearts. I'm doing this medical thing, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera." And then they get to me and I'm like, "I'm single. I'm doing the radio thing. Not full time. It's great. $10 an hour is amazing. Obviously, I'm going to live off that." And it just feels like one of those things where like, all right, well, let's get to the train wreck and let him have his moment. And then my brother got engaged and has since gotten married first. And that was a fun conversation too, because people are jerks. Because it didn't bug me. Like they're high school sweethearts. They were going to get there. I didn't have a high school sweetheart. But people are like, "Oh man, is it weird? Is it weird to not be the first one married and the oldest?" I'm like, "Because you're making it weird right now. That's what's making it weird."
Yeah.
I don't think so, but
Well, everybody's on different timelines. He had a high school sweetheart. Of course they're going to get married first.
my sister was married before I was and had a kid.
I mean, I think my
And
siblings
divorced.
fell in the same order they were born. I'm the only rebel that hasn't gotten married
But you got the longest amount of window.
at my age. So
Oh, yeah. To drive this home, I'll tell you a funny story. So if you don't laugh at this, then I'm failing you miserably. My brother's wedding, right? So we have the procession line, right? So they stand like bridegroom, best man, maid of honor. I think it was just the 4 of us, and everybody gets to walk by and mostly congratulate the bride and groom. I don't honestly know why it was my family too, I guess, because my brother, so there's a reason for me standing there. So everybody comes through, talks to me, congratulates the bride and groom on the way out. I won't say who, but a family member of mine went through, crying, hugging me. He's like, "Oh, this is such a happy day, blah, 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 blah." Gets to my brother, whispers in his ear, "I'm so glad this happened because I'm not sure if your brother's ever going to get married."
wow. I think I flat out told my parents I'm probably not gonna get married. There's still a pressure though for me to have a child
so
because
much.
my youngest nephew is 4. So they're saying like, "Oh, our family's getting old. We need a baby," and they just like look at me, and I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. You have 4 married children. Talk to them."
Well, you guys can have one
5
too.
married children. Sorry.
Okay, so here's the deal. I don't know why, but like I think everybody just gave up on me, like a long time ago.
Do you like it or do you hate it?
Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother you. Yeah. Does it come? Did they do it before? Because I feel like it comes in like spurts. Like for stretches, people will leave me alone, and then it'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Like I'll make the mistake of spending too much time with family, and they'll go, "Oh,
No.
marriage or babies."
There was the pressure on the mission thing, but that was about it. I think after I didn't go,
You
I
haven't
met your
had a
parents. Your parents are
boyfriend
pretty
for a
cool.
while.
That's true. That could be what it is.
Should we be worried? No, I'm living my best single life. I'm fine.
See, and here's the thing that gets me. So we get the kid thing. We're not engaged. Ashley and I are engaged. We're not married. We told people we talk about getting engaged. So at some point it's going to happen, right? And then people are like, "Oh, I would like a grandchild." And it's kind of the point where, like, for a while you chuckle along, and then you kind of make friendly jokes, and then you're just fed up with it. So now it's got to the point where Ashley, most recently, one of her family members, is like, "Well, we'd really like a grandchild," and Ashley's like, "Well, are you going to pay for it?" And they're like, "No." "Are you going to see it more than the occasional weekend?" "No." "Well, then let's stop talking about it. How about that, right? How about the people who are going to take care of it make the call on it? Why don't we leave it at that? Maybe. But
let's not bring somebody into this mess.
we got a good dynamic here. The vibe is good. Let's not wreck it. So, so that actually brings me back. So the reason I was talking about sibling rivalry, right, everybody asked me when my brother got married, "Oh, is it buggy he's first?" No, he's happy. What does it matter? It's not a race until it's the same timeline. See, it was different for me when my brother was way out there because it was like, "Oh, does it bother you? With what woman am I getting married to?" No, it doesn't bother me. But see, Ash and I went shopping for engagement rings. We talked about engagements, pending proposal. Now all of a sudden her sister has gone shopping for engagement rings. They're talking about it. And now, see, you can't be the second one. Now that we're in the same ballpark and we're both on the same level, someone's got to be first, and that's supposed to be us, apparently, because we've been dating longer and she's older. And that's where I'm at now with this sibling rivalry thing. It's somehow sped up I don't know when it would have been, but it has sped up when I potentially need to propose. And it's awesome.
I think there's more pressure on like older sisters to get married before younger sisters than there are older brothers to get married before.
I would 100%
So
agree
I think
with that.
that's where that comes from.
I mean, I agree with that completely because I feel like most of the things that Ashley and I hear are obviously from people talking to her because no one's like, "Oh, AJ, besides that one family member, we don't think you're ever going to get married." Nobody's ever said that to me except that one time at my brother's wedding where it was super appropriate to make that comment, I guess. We might only get to do one of these. Here's the other thing that concerns me, though. When I went home for Christmas, one of my probably the biggest reason actually for doing so was meeting my sisters, and they're both in their early 20s. And the reason why is, one, because I hadn't seen them in a couple of years, but two, they're both in serious relationships. I think when I went home for Christmas, my oldest sister had been with her fella for 7 months, and my youngest sister had been with her guy for less than that, but they were in serious relationships. And I was like, okay, I just want to be thinking about it today. I was like, I want to be clear. Nobody should be in a race to get to the altar. Just so we're all clear here. I don't want to hear like I got to get married before her. Invite none of that. We will not accept any of that in this family. And I'm legitimately concerned that's going to be a thing. That my sisters are all of a sudden going to be racing each other to be the first one married.
I don't know.
I'm just so glad that I was like so much younger than my sisters. I don't have to experience that. Not once.
I just don't know why you need to have such a big event for marriage. Like, I don't get it. Can it just be small?
I think because
if that's what you want.
I think
like
because the idea is that it's a party for you, but the bigger it is, the more of a huge nightmare it is.
Yeah.
And that's what nobody tells you about. Like, nobody tells you, I feel like, everybody tells you, like, think all the people and the fun and the dancing, and that's what you think about. Nobody goes up and be like, your family's going to be an unmitigated nightmare.
I mean,
they're going to constantly be asking you for things.
Half of them don't even want to be there anyway, so why do it? I don't know. That's just my thought.
I don't know what to tell you. Ashley keeps looking into eloping, and whenever family gets too mean about it, that's the hint we drop. We're like, it'd be a sure shame if we just magically disappeared to a different country to figure this out.
Peace. Deuces.
Bye.
This has been the show
After the show.